Hi scholars, Dr. Ratcliffe here. I just wanted to make a brief video giving you some insight into our next week. So we're up and moving right along in our 8-week course. I know this class moves very quickly, and so I just want to encourage you to keep track of due dates and make sure that you have a good understanding of what's coming up. And so just to give you a preview of this week, I want to take you to our week 3 module. Looks like I've received test speeches from many of you. I look forward to grading those. I should get to those in the next day or so. So go back and look at that grade when it's posted, and you'll see my comments on a little rubric next to that grade. Moving on to week 3, we're going to cover once again 3 chapters. And so we'll look at chapter 14, which deals with business writing. We'll look at chapter 3 and chapter 4, which deal with culture and communication and listening, I believe. And so you'll be taking some chapter quizzes over those concepts as well. However, there's another assignment coming up. You may notice, also due this next Saturday, an outline for your upcoming speech. Anytime that we do a speech, the best course of action is to go in with a plan. So many people think, oh, I can just wing a speech. That does not work out very well for very many people. And so having a plan is one of the keys to successful public speaking. An outline is a good way to organize a plan. And so I just want to open this assignment up and show you what you might want to start thinking about, what you will need to start thinking about this week. So first of all, realize that this is an outline for an upcoming speech. The speech will actually be given in the following week, but you need to go ahead and outline the content and turn in your outline for this week. In order to do this, you need to go to that speech assignment, and you can do that by scrolling down to the next module and see it there, or I've got a link that's right here that you can click on and you can see the speech assignment. So this particular speech assignment is an informative speech, and you're going to be talking about an influence on your field of study. Please let me be very clear. This is not a speech about what influenced you to go into your field of study. Do not mention anything about your influences. That's not what the speech is about. What this speech is about is anything that has influenced your field of study, so your major area. So for instance, my field of study is communication. That's what I majored in, that's what I teach. And so if I were to give this speech, I could choose a person, a place, a thing, or an idea that has influenced the field of communication. Maybe your field of study is engineering, or maybe it's nursing, or maybe it's accounting, or maybe it's graphic design, or game simulation and development. So you determine what your field of study is, right? And then you're going to research something, a person, place, thing, or idea that has influenced that field of study. So for instance, if I were going to give this speech, I could talk about the influence that Aristotle, who's a person, had on the field of communication. He's the father of rhetoric. Or I could talk about a place, which has interesting influence on public discourse, Speaker's Corner in London. It's an interesting topic that could relate to this assignment. Or I could talk about how the microphone has influenced how we give public addresses in society. I could also talk about how the internet has opened up public discourse, for instance. Or I could discuss how elocution, which is a very stylized way of speaking that was popular in the 19th century, how that influenced the field of communication. And so I've got a lot of choices. If you do some brainstorming, you'll find that you have a lot of choices too for this topic. And so think about what has influenced your field of study, and then develop an informative speech about that influence. Once again, do not talk about what influenced you to go into that field. That's not the gist of the assignment. So now that you know that you're going to have to create an outline. You're going to have at least two credible sources that you get information from that you need to cite in your speech, and that will show up in your outline as well. And you're going to organize your speech outline with an introduction, 2 to 3 main points, and a conclusion. And within this speech assignment, I do have information about outlining, but remember, let's go back a page. All you're going to do today is the actual outline for this speech. And so this is the first step, the preparation step leading up to actually giving the speech later in another week, I think. And so this now that we've gone over what this assignment is looking for, now you can choose a topic and develop an informative speech outline. An outline should include a well-developed introduction, like I mentioned earlier, 2 to 3 main points. You should have transition statements between those main points, a very good conclusion, and then you need to have a list of references in MLA or APA format at the end of your outline. So whatever sources you use, whatever information you get from an outside source, you need to put that in a reference list in MLA or APA format. I can share another video on how to do that if you need. Just let me know. In terms of how to do an outline for this class, I've created a link to one of our reference pages, our resource pages. This is a page strictly dedicated to outlines and speaker notes, and so I'll take you there. If you want, I have a little video discussing the difference between outlines and speaker notes. You're welcome to watch that. But then there's a step-by-step document on how to create an outline. This is very detailed, and it tells you exactly what to do, where to start, how to get started. Interestingly enough, you don't want to start your outline with working on the very first sentence in your speech. So I take you through step-by-step instruction that actually helps you develop a big idea of the speech, and then you develop the middle part, the body of the speech, then you go back, develop the introduction and conclusion, and then you go in and insert transition statements. And so this document will really help you follow that easy pattern for developing an outline. I also give you an outline template. I'm just going to open this up so you can see. It's in Word, so you can go in and manipulate this and basically fill in the blanks with your information and type up your outline using this template. So as we're waiting for it to open, let me just put it in the right view. You see that there's a general purpose that's to inform. Generally, your purpose in this speech is just to inform. Later we'll get to persuasive purpose. And then your specific purpose will be to inform my audience about the influence that Aristotle had on communication, for instance. You get to determine your specific purpose because that'll be your topic. And then I give you elements that go into the introduction. The first thing you need to do is just focus on a big idea or a thesis statement. Don't worry about these other things until you get the middle part of the speech done. Then you can go in and start dividing your speech into some main points, put support underneath it so we have interesting details and examples that help explain your main point. And then you have a conclusion where you summarize, you restate your thesis, and you have a great definite ending sentence that clearly and concisely closes out your speech. At the end you have a little reference list, also known as a bibliography. And so this is a template that you're welcome to use in order to complete this assignment. If you want to see an example, let me move this down just a little bit for you. If you want to see an example, here's a sample outline using that same format that I just showed you. And so you can look at that example. It's not the same type of speech. It's an informative speech, but not about an influence on your field. This is an informative speech about a work of art. So a little different topic, but the format of the outline is exactly the same. So you can scroll through and see how a full outline will look. So you notice it's in full sentences. So here's the opportunity that we have to work out the wording of our speech and to really get good details going in our speeches. We also have the opportunity to have some source citation here. You want to make sure that you do cite your sources and you have a really good sense of where, so we have a good sense of where you got your information from. And I know it looks long, but basically this is your speech written out in an outline format. And so this is the plan of your speech. This is what it will look like. And so this will help you then when it comes time to give your speech, so you have a good understanding of what you're supposed to say, how you're going to say it. And so when it comes time this week to pick a topic and then do the outline for this, give yourself some time. It won't be something you can do just in one evening and do it well. So give yourself some time, brainstorm on this topic that you want to do for the speech, and then go and do the outline for it. If you have any questions or need any help with anything, just let me know. I'm here to help. I'm glad you're in the class. I'm appreciating all of your participation. And once again, if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.